One of the strongest proponents of the Caribbean Court of Justice, Dr. Kenny Anthony, has scored a victory in an historic case before the Judicial Authority on Trade Matters of the Caribbean Community, Caricom. The former Prime Minister and attorney by profession says he is honored and privileged to witness the birth, infancy and maturation of the court. He says the judgment inspires confidence in the court and affirms its integrity.
For me, it was an opportunity to see in practice what I had always felt was the correct thing. I was very proud of the court. I left with great respect. I thought it was an eminently sensible judgment. It was historic in the sense that it was the very first judgment of the court on the rules pertaining to the Treaty of Chaguaramas.
This was the first time a private sector entity had challenged a decision by the Secretary General of Caricom and the heads of government. Trinidad and Tobago Cement took Caricom to court, alleging the heads breached the common external tariff by seeking supplies of the commodity, that is cement, outside the bloc during a widespread shortage in the region. Dr. Anthony, who represented Caricom, was able to successfully rebuff the claim.
And it is because of the failure of the government of Trinidad and Tobago to agree to being a party to represent their interests before the court that they proceeded with the action against Caricom. I don't think there's any harm at all in taking matters like that to the court. We now operate a rules-based system, and I think you do need pronouncements from the court from time to time to guide decision makers both at the political level as well as at the level of Caricom.
This court victory has nothing to do with the wrangling over the CCJ as the appellate court for the region in civil and criminal matters. Under the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas establishing Caricom, the CCJ is the court of arbitration in trade disputes. At present, the debate over the jurisdiction of the CCJ to supplant the Privy Council as the Court of Appeal for the region rages on.
All member states are part of the jurisdiction of the CCJ where the rules of the Treaty of Chaguaramas are concerned. In other words, all member states of Caricom access the jurisdiction of the courts in matters pertaining to trade. The problem really relates to the appellate jurisdiction of the court, that is to say, the usual civil, criminal, and constitutional matters that traditionally we appeal to the Privy Council. Some governments in the region have said, look, in matters pertaining to civil appeals, criminal and constitutional appeals, we still favor retention of the Privy Council.
But Dr. Kenny Anthony says there is hope for the CCJ as the final court of appeal. He points to opponents like Vincentian Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, who has softened his stance on the idea of the court. The constitutional attorney explains the court decision is instructive. He says it provokes thought on testing the true limits of power in trade matters and the interpretation of the decision-making process.